I often want to know how my husband is feeling and what he's thinking, but he struggles with being open and vulnerable due to past trauma and heartbreak.
Yeah.
Even though I see him trying, I wish he'd give me more, and I have found myself secretly frustrated and sad about this. However, recently the Holy Spirit asked or told me two things. 1, can you handle what he gives you?
Woo! That's a bar. That's a bar. Can we sit here for a second? Okay. Holy Spirit talking to her.
If he completely opened up and shared everything, how would I respond? I know me, and I don't think I would respond well.
I know.
I would hate for him to finally completely trust me, and then I fumble, causing him to retreat back into his shell. Oof. That is a level of care that we all deserve.
Hey guys, welcome to Little Black Book 91. We are having our weekly, I guess, podcast episode, Dilemma Wednesdays. You know, I thought it would be nice to have some weekly episodes where we talk about relationships and break them down. And I'm not joined by anybody who is of a small feat. This person's a giant in my life. You know what I mean? And I appreciate her majorly as well for taking the time out to spend with myself. Please give a warm welcome to Jay. Jay, how are we doing, baby?
You're doing beautiful, baby. Blessings on blessings on blessings. Let's do it.
That's right. That's right. Indeedy. You know what I'm saying to you? you know. But this is where it begins. When we do this, they should know. But yeah, no, this episode is really about talking about men and vulnerability. I'm sure we'll talk about women and vulnerability as well, because it is an open dialogue that we're having as well. But today's topic, like I said, it's guided by this particular video that I watched the other day, and it was about a wife saying she did not know how to handle if her husband was even to open up, but yet she wanted him to open up, you know? And I put the title then saying, well, then I don't think, and of course I'm being facetious because I'm sure women do care about men's feelings, but I put the title as women don't care about men's vulnerability. You know, they don't care about that. Well, this young lady didn't seemingly, quote unquote, care. She just wanted him to open up, but then didn't have the capacity to be able to respond to his vulnerability. So I'm going to make the statement and see what Jay going to say back to me. Jay, I don't think women care about men's vulnerability. If I said that to you, what would you say back to me?
I think we care about the vulnerability. We just, like this young lady said, sometimes don't have the capacity. We don't have the understanding. And what I mean by understanding, we don't know male logic, so to speak, like, you know, like the way the male brain operates. Some of us just don't know how to hold vulnerability spaces or safe spaces for anybody. First off, let's start there. You know what I'm saying? Anybody can get it. But I think when we're into a person, we want to be that for that person. However, some of us haven't dealt with past hurt or traumas to know how to react and respond when we are hurt, triggered, or facing some type of trauma. And so therefore we become, let me hurt this person back. And what we use to hurt that person back is whatever they shared with us. So it's not that we don't care. It's just we don't have proper care for the information that we receive once we receive it.
I hear you on that. So you mentioned obviously about capacity to be able to receive that. I guess if I'm talking from the male perspective, it's hard to hear that, because how do you mean you don't have capacity? You know, you have capacity for your ladies. You have capacity for people at work. You have capacity for family. But when I want to come and I want to relax and just give you a bit of my vulnerability, you're telling me you ain't got capacity. What does that even mean? How are you going to tell me that you don't have capacity for me?
Yeah, some of us ain't have fathers.
Oh, okay.
Some of us ain't have fathers, and then the mothers that we had were hard. You know what I'm saying? So when you deal with those women, the capacity is not there because it's you just can't do for me. How? You can't do for me. My mama did everything, like, you know what I'm saying? That's what I saw. So a man not being able to do anything and he being vulnerable, that shows weakness. I know strong women. What you talking about? You can't, you know what I'm saying? Like, you explaining yourself, you got feelings, this, so it goes sometimes to that nature. Then for those of us that did grow up with a dad, and like for me, for instance, my dad was very open. I've seen my dad cry. I've seen my dad go through different emotions and stuff like that. It affects you differently. You do seem to have a little bit more compassion. At the same time, is okay, you got to still wipe these tears down. We got things to do. We still got to get on it and stuff. Like, the world is still happening around us. So what are you going to do to fix it? And then it comes to sometimes that old saying back in the day, and I learned this very early. I shouldn't say this to a man because it creates health problems later on in them. But I told my little brother one time when he was a baby, men don't cry. Because that's what we were told. Men don't cry. Men don't show emotions. Men don't do that. So the world has been exposed to that saying or whatnot, not knowing how much damage that does to a male, especially a young man at that age, not understanding when or how or why he should show emotions. All he knows is I can't show crying is weakness. I can't show I'm crying. I can't be vulnerable. I can't do this. So when I'm telling my brother this, and I'm glad my auntie stopped me when she did, is that I'm telling him, you can't be vulnerable with me. And it was a hard lesson that I had to learn, but the way she told me, it was like, so you're telling this man not to cry, so he's going to hold in his tears and later on have a stroke or a heart attack because he's holding in all of this pain, anger, suppression, stress, whatever it is, because your words was, do not cry. Men don't cry. So that kind of changed my perspective on like holding a space for men. But a lot of us don't get that lesson. We just hear men don't cry. We don't hear the reasons why they don't cry, when they should cry, why, we don't get that part of it. It's just, you cannot cry. So if I see you crying, you must be less than a man. You must be weak. That's not you. We're emotional. That shouldn't be you. I need you to be logical. I need you to be sound. I need you to be on your stuff so you can protect everything that's going on here. Let me do the crying. But it's the wrong message for both of us.
As you're talking, I'm hearing, I'm like, yo, I really hear it. And I think obviously when you don't hear it from another perspective, because all I'm thinking of as a man is maybe I've seen you being, or maybe I've heard you tell me you've been vulnerable with your girls. Your girls are telling you X, Y, and Z. They're telling you all this kind of stuff. I don't get to hear that extra story, what you just shared. Mm-hmm. I don't get to hear that you never got that yourself. I never get to hear, and I should probably say never, but you rarely get to hear that from the other side. Okay, maybe I didn't get it from my dad. That's why I'm finding it difficult to be that space for you. Or, you know what? I was raised by my dad, but maybe I was raised by my mom. So I don't really have that capacity to necessarily give. All I'm hearing is, and that's before you even said what you said, all I'm hearing is what you said in between, which was that if I say it, I'm going to be looked at as weak. And if I say it, it's going to be used against me. Mm-hmm. And so there is no real point of me sharing those vulnerabilities, because they're not going to stay secrets. They're going to become state information real quick. Mm-hmm. And so I don't feel safe. It feels like I'm in a cage that's getting smaller and smaller. And I'm in a room that's getting darker and darker. And so when I do feel like I'm about to be encapsulated by the darkness, I want to share something. But then when I think about it, I think about the fact that I'm going to be a fool if I share it, because you're going to use it against me. Mm-hmm. Or you're going to tell me I should be a man. I should toughen up. So because of the fact that what I've also gone through, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's hard. I don't get to hear your story. And I think that's why it's difficult to know anything else but what certain men will tell you, which is that, women can't hold men's vulnerability because they've experienced the woman turning it against them, but we also don't know the other side as to why that gets turned against them. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, yeah.
I've been having this conversation with a few of my male friends lately because they've gone through the same path of not being able to share their secrets or themselves, so to speak, with the women that they are involved with because of said situations. One day it's going to be used against them. That's all they say and stuff. Hold on one second.
Yeah. So I think this is a great conversation to be at, because I think for me, talking about vulnerability, I've been talking to a few men about this recently, and it's been difficult because I understand where the men are coming from. But Jay's coming back, so let me let her jump back in. Yes, Jay.
Yeah. But I mean, I know you'll give a better perspective because you are a man, so you'll be able to say it better than what I'm getting from the guys. But it's just like on Mad Day, everything gets thrown back in their face some type of way. Even if we were saying something that was just in friend code or whatever, friendship and stuff, somehow it's going to get twisted and turned back in the way. Oh, this is why the last chick left you. Oh, this is why this, those type of situations. This is why you ain't nothing. You can't get no job. You ain't, whatever the case may be, it's going to be used against you when Mad Day comes. And we as women, as a collective, we need to work on that part. That might come from being placed against each other in competition mode all the time. So you're always looking for a way to tear the next girl down, but then you're now doing it to your partner. You're now doing it to your man because you want to be even on even playing field and stuff. And it's just like, sometimes you're just not on even playing field. Because when you think about a man actually taking his time to be vulnerable with you, that should be sacred, because they don't do that. They don't do that with their boys in the way that we might think they do it. Like, very seldom I know my boys be like, oh, I went and cried at my boy house. Like, for him to be crying at his boy house, it almost had to be something that his boy literally seen happening just before he started crying. Like, he's not walking over there like we do, going to it like, oh, this girl broke my heart. You do have some men that do that, but that's a very seldom thing. Out of all the love songs that we got one song, Lenny Williams crying on the track. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't get that. So when he takes the time to actually do that with his lady, it should be kind of sacred, because he's trusting you where he's never trusted anybody else. The last person he probably trusted in that manner was probably his parents, his mom or his dad, his best friend at like second best to that. You know what I'm saying? That'd probably be the only other person that's seen him in that state. Nobody else has seen him in that state. But we're getting the privilege to see in that state. We don't look at it as privilege. We sometimes might look at it, oh, he's trying to get in. And like somebody said in the chat, oh, it could be used as manipulation. It's the tears and stuff like that. We're so used to and accustomed to being lied to that when he's actually sharing his truth, we want to figure out how that we have to twist it and spin it to make it sound like the truth, though we feel it's a lie. I know that sounds confusing, but it's something that I noticed a lot of people do, is like, when you receive the truth, you like, this too good to be true. I can't believe that. So I got to turn the story a little bit, tweak it here and there, hear what I want to hear instead of what the person actually told me and how they told me and why they told me. I got to use that for some form of get back later on. I'm going to store that for later. We got to stop that part.
Yeah. I think, my brain was thinking about the difficulty of sharing, right? In that immediate process, in that immediate moment, the difficulty of sharing. I think one of the difficulties in the immediate moment of sharing is that I have to work myself up to that point to finally share something. So I'll work my way up to that point, and I'm finally probably there, right? but I probably needed a little bit of silence or no real talking, too much talking or whatever, and just allow me just to be able to say what I'm going to say. And then you kind of get there where you say something, and then it kind of then gets turned. It then, I won't say it gets turned against you, but I'll say like you might start sharing, and then your girl might just kind of like take the conversation over.
Mm-hmm.
So like she might say, "Oh, I understand," and then she'll be like, "Yeah, I get it," and then she'll kind of like take over the conversation. So rather than like helping me push my conversation further along, she'll kind of like take over by saying, "Oh yeah, no, I get it," and then she might start telling me her experience, but this is actually a moment I really want to share. So it's like I now don't want to share now. You know what I'm saying? She like, this is a moment I wanted to be able to share with you, but you kind of took it over. And now it feels like I can't really share, because when I do, you trying to talk and quote unquote have a conversation with me feels like you're just not really listening to me. You know what I mean? That's how I'm feeling in the vulnerable space. Yeah.
You listen to respond instead of just listening. Yeah. We have friends, male and female, that do this. You know what I'm saying? We have friends that do this. Like, as soon as you start telling your story, oh, I too got a story. Sit still. You didn't want to tell your story until somebody else started telling their story. This is not your time sometimes. So like, you got to just sit still. In those moments, and I know exactly what you're talking about, because I got friends that do that on both sides. Is, you know, and it's funny because I'm the opposite. I'm a bit of the opposite. It's like, I want to tell you so we can be similar. We have similarities and we find this common ground between us, but I also don't want to be overstepping your story right now either. Because it's like, sometimes, yes, I did too go through this experience, and I want to be like, dang, let's bond on that. But I have to sit back sometimes and just relax and just let you land and let you finish. And maybe even fill you out just a little bit more, just dig a little bit deeper into that scenario on how did you handle it? What did you process from it? What you learned from it? You know, how do you feel like that made you what is going on today? Is there anything I can do to help you release from that? You know what I'm saying? And then I don't necessarily have to find a way to segue into me still telling it, but, you know, I can just share a little bit, like, you know, I've kind of gone through something similar too, and this is how I handled it. Maybe that will work for you, instead of just having to be like, oh yeah, I get to vent too. No, it's not your time. It's not your time. This person came to you in this moment, so you allow them to have their space. You know, and you know, me and you know, we're kind of similar on this page. It takes a lot for us to come to people sometimes in the first place. And so I feel like sometimes when a man is coming to me with his burdens, I have to be quiet. I know I can't help or solve all of his problems. I might be able to suggest a few things that I'll be like, hey, look, this may work in your favor. This may not. I'm not sure. You know, but I still have to hear him all the way out so I can even know what to suggest in the first place. So it's about sometimes just sitting back and being quiet and listening. Like they always say, women just need to be quiet and listen. Like, just be quiet and not be seen and not heard. Sometimes that's the time when you just need to be seen and not heard. You know what I'm saying? Like, it works in your favor in that moment because you are bonding. Every bond does not need a response. You don't have to always say something back to make that bond solidify even tighter. Sometimes you just sitting there taking it in and actively listening to that person is just enough, because they need to get it off their chest, and not storing it for later, for mad day, all of this stuff like that, but just actually like, I'm investing in this person by learning about this person, learning how I can be better for this person. I can be better for myself. I can make this relationship grow stronger. You know, when you actively listening and you're listening with a positive ear, you're hearing things to make things work instead of how to make them fall apart later. You know, and if you're being a true friend, let's start there. Let's actually start there. We don't be friends in relationships a lot of times these days. And I think that's where we are failing ourselves a lot of times, is that we don't look at these people as our friend. It's something I'm smashing, it's something I'm talking to, this is somebody I'm just hooking up with, I'm dating or whatever, but friend is never on that list. We don't do none of this stuff with our friend. Our friend get all kind of passes. We listen all day long to our friends' stories. We don't interject. We just let them vent their little life away and just be like, girl, I hear you, girl. I hear you, you know? But when we get to with our man, he's not our friend all of a sudden. Why? Especially if he's long-term, especially if this is somebody that you plan on marrying or married to. Why all of a sudden that's not your friend? That should be your friend first. So if he's my friend, I have a friend code to where whatever my friend shares with me stays with me. It shouldn't go anywhere. I shouldn't be using it to like get back at him at any point and stuff, because I wouldn't do a friend like that. You know what I'm saying? And this is long before the betrayal stuff happens or whatever and stuff like that. And even if I'm just the type of person too, even if I feel like my friend betrayed me, I don't have to respond the same way I feel like my friend hurt me. Because if I ever held you as a friend, you are a friend to me, we just won't deal with each other. But I'm not trying to get revenge or vengeance on you to the point I have to hurt you or nothing like that. My absence will hurt you more than anything to me. And that's how I feel about a lot of stuff when it comes to it. So I try to treat relationships the same way I treat my friendships, especially nowadays. It's like, I want you to be my friend first. Because when relationships get tough or whatever, and we start going through our ups and downs, am I going to miss the relationship or I'm going to miss my friend? If this is somebody I've been confiding in and they've been confiding in me and we've been building this type bond, when we start getting into this back and forth, guess what? I'm going to want my friend back. I'm going to be able to want to be like, hey, listen, I know the love side of us got us in this passionate twist where we're going at each other, but friend, hear me right now. I need you to talk to me. I need you to hear me as a friend. I don't want to lose what we have going on. So how do we make this work? So I think if we start there, when we're intentionally dating and we're intentional about people, we start with the friendship aspect and we start treating people as we treat our friends. Now, if you treat your friends like ish, you got some other stuff to work on. You got some other stuff to work on, baby. Okay. But 90% of us don't treat our friends like ish. So it's like, why are you treating the person that is actually more intimate with you than your friend is like that? You laying down with this person, you doing all kind of other things with this person that you don't do with your friends. I hope not. But, you doing all these extra things and then you don't talk to them like your friend. That's crazy. Your friend gets that emotional intimacy, but he gets all of your body. So I feel like if we start walking into relationships with intention, start treating people like our friends first or whatnot, we will hold more space for them to be vulnerable with us. A lot more. And again, I'm going to go back to this too. One last thing. What are your intentions in the first place? Is your intentions even pure when you walking into a situation with a person and stuff like that? Even if something goes awry during the relationship later on, if your intentions about that person was pure, it shouldn't have you happen to be vindictive or wanting to get back at them in such a manner, you know what I'm saying, where you are no longer a safe space.
So my computer was freezing. Yeah. I appreciate you sharing that. And yeah, I think in this space, I think as a man, I think there's certain key words that we hear. You know what I'm saying? There's certain key words that we hear that kind of stops us from being able to share them more. As I was saying, like sometimes people overtake, but there are some things that when we're talking to our lady or talking to our lady and when you hear it, it stops you from wanting to be able to share. You know what I mean? And it's interesting. Like, for instance, I've, and this is something personal. I think this is something where we feel within ourselves, and again, this is partly an insecurity within ourselves, or at least a feeling that we have within ourselves. So money is a massive thing. It's a massive thing for men specifically. I know it's for ladies too. It's a massive thing. And I think there are situations where financially, let's say, for instance, financially, we're not, maybe as a man, you're not in your best place right now, right? Maybe something's happened or something's changed. You know, the finances are not hitting the same way that they used to, you know what I mean? And when you're in that space, and it might not even necessarily be something like you've said in it to be rude or anything like that. It might just be a thought process that you've had when you like, you know, and this is sometimes it's hard to open up and share these things. Like, let's say, for instance, you might say, oh, I really want to go on holiday this year. And my thought process is, damn, broski, man ain't got the money right now. I ain't got the money and the finances. And that's my job in a relationship. Man can't do the job. So you haven't even said anything rude per se. You just said something real. Like, you want to go on holidays this year. And now I'm thinking to myself, rah, how do I share that? Because now if I share that, you might look at me some type of way. You might not care about me the same way. You know, maybe I made some promises in the past.
What I'm with a man for if he can't do,
you know,
he can't treat me what?
Okay.
I'll do
princess treatment
and stuff like that. Like, I take myself on holiday. What I got you for then? Like,
this what I'm trying to say, you know? So my brain starts thinking that, right? Because I'm thinking to myself, and this is something I've honestly thought. As much as I always say that I think couples should work together financially, that I know that to be true. But in my head, that's not how it sounds. That's not when, if I'm financially not there, my brain does not think we're working together. My brain thinks this is on me now, and I haven't got it. You know what I mean? My brain doesn't, I don't feel comfortable asking you maybe to chip in more on this occasion. Because my thought process is, at least I should always have my half. At least always have my half. So now I'm trapped because I can't tell you. That's what I'm telling myself. I can't tell you that I ain't got it right now. Because that's disappointment. I'm going to let you down. You know? It's a tough spot to be in. What's your thoughts to hearing that?
Because you know me and my holiday. You know me and my holiday. I'm going to go regardless, baby. I'm going to go regardless. No, you know, and not every woman's the same. Don't get me wrong. Not every woman's the same. You know, again, I'm raised by my dad. Me and my dad has lots of heart to heart. So I kind of come to know the men's, a little bit of the logic when it comes to finances and being able to do for his lady and all that stuff. I've dated men who flat out tell me I feel less of a man when I can't for you, and stuff. So I get it. And it's tough not to say, because as a person who has been so independent for such a long time, and to sit back and hear somebody say I can't because they can't, it's hard. It's a hard pill for me to swallow sometimes, or whatever and stuff. But I'm also one of these type people that when I want to do something, I'm going to make it happen. And if I want company when I'm doing it, I got you. You know what I'm saying? So me personally, I would have like the space to be like, oh, okay, you need me to get a little extra. Okay, what we doing? All right. How we gonna make this happen? Because I'm trying to go. But if it falls upon if this is something I actually want to do now. Now say bills come up. You know, ain't nobody want to pay no damn bills. But you ain't got it. Now I gotta bite my tongue because sis be like, Well, if I wasn't here, what was you gonna do? Like, you know what I'm saying? I be wanting to go. I be wanting to go there. I be wanting to go there, but it's still a human. It's still a person, and I go through my thing too and stuff. And it's just like I look at it when I didn't have it, and that person was there for me. They didn't say anything. They just covered me. You know what I'm saying? And this goes for if it's your person. If this is just somebody you just messing with, I don't know what to tell you in this situation. But if this is somebody you actually see yourself being with and you want to be, it's gonna go like this. It's gonna go like this. Sometimes y'all together with it. Sometimes y'all together with the roller coaster. But it might be I gotta depend on you. I gotta depend on she. So there has to be some type of communication, and I have to make him feel comfortable enough to be able to come to me with that, because now he's harboring that in, but I feel it. I'm in APAS, so I feel that. Your pressure, your stress, and all that, and I keep asking you, what's wrong? You're not sleeping at night. You're not eating. You're not doing all of these things. I see it or whatever, and I'm internalizing it, but I'm not thinking it's money, financial thing. You know, my head is now going, oh, you got some other chick. Oh, it's gotta be, you know what I'm saying? Because you're not communicating with me, but I have to remember I didn't make that space for you to do it.
Okay.
So if I didn't make that space for you to say, Jay, I'm going through a financial thing right now. Can we push this holiday back a little bit? Can we negotiate on where we going or some things or whatever? I know you want this big grandiose thing, but I just can't do it right now. If I don't have a space and we don't have that space for each other, we're left to our own devices of creating stories in our head. Oh, she's going to think less of me because I ain't got it. Or she going to think I ain't a man. Well, he out here must be doing this, tricking off on somebody else while he ain't got the money. All that. We got to talk. We got to talk, because the mind is an idle place when it's quiet. Like, it get crazy in there. Them little voices, them little demons, whatever you want to call them up in there, start making all kind of stories. I need your story, babes. I need what's going on in your head. So from jump, when we start in this relationship and I'm serious about you, I start making a platform personally. This is what I do. Y'all can try it if you all like, but I personally start making a platform for a man to feel okay and safe with me. I'm like a doctor. I tell people I'm like a doctor's office. Like, whatever goes on between us is confidentiality. That's it. That's the agreement. If I break this agreement, you can sue me. Like, literally. But I want you to know that I am a place that you can come talk to me about anything, and baby step it, because they got to learn how to trust. It's like learning how to walk. They got to learn how to trust to be open too. You can't sit there as soon as he tell you something that it doesn't sound right. Oh, you want to blow up and go react to that? No, because guess what? Now he's back closed. Now we back to where he's definitely not going to say anything to you. He's never going to open up to you. And now you're in your head thinking he's doing everything else. So you got to learn how to control your reactions.
That's you know what you just said, that the reaction part is exactly where I was going to go to next, which is that is probably that's the part we're looking as a man. That's the part I'm looking for. If I tell you, I'm watching responses, like, because someone can tell me I got you, but you can tell they ain't got you really, because their heart, they are literally distraught. Like, if I say, like, hey, look, this holiday we said we had, I'm like 500 short on it. I can't even do that part. And you look at me and go, or you give me the, you know what I'm saying, Chu? I'm going to be looking at you like, wait, hold a minute. I don't think she actually really wants to get me. I need an enthusiastic consent here. I need enthusiastic yeses. So if you're telling me you got me, I need to see that energy of I've got you. I need to hear confidence. I need to be inspired that you've actually got me when I share that weakness with you. You know what I'm saying, Chu? I need to hear that we are a team, because when I'm up, honestly, if I share my success with you, that's when we're up. Everybody's all good at that point. It's when I'm down and I'm at that point where I'm at my vulnerablest moment, right? I'm in need to trust you. I need to know that when you say you got my back, your energy is I've got your back. And I feel, and of course, I'm talking from a very privileged perspective right now to say that I know that why some women won't have that necessarily straight away response, but I'm just talking from the men that specifically they're thinking this way, which is I'm going to share this thing with you that I ain't got the money. And there's no enthusiastic response of like, babe, what do you mean I've got you? Then now I know that you ain't really got me.
Mm-hmm.
And now I start thinking about the fact that actually you're not here for me. You're here for resources. Now, whether I've got enough gold to even talk about that, that's another story for another day. But the reality of the situation is that what the little resources I got, you try and take that too. You don't really care about me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying to you? So I think that is where, like you said, the reaction is really important for us. And an enthusiastic, response in terms of like, what do you mean I've got you? What do you mean? Of course, like we're a team. We us men want to hear that as well. It's like, what do you mean we've got you? I'm a team player. I'm with you. Like, it's we. And I think sometimes for some of us men, we've heard it's not we, or we have had we, but the we is very weak. It's like we. It's we. You know what I mean? Rather than saying, no, what do you mean I've got you? Like, like a friend, like when you go to dinner and you say to your friend, listen, they're like, babe, I ain't got the money today. What? Come on, we're going, man.
Get in the car.
Like,
let's go.
I've got you. Get in the car. Let's go.
Let's
See
go.
that energy? That's the energy that we need as men. Like, we need that energy. That lets me know that you got me. And then that from there also, I also feel like, okay, if she's got me like that, okay, I can relax a little bit, but also now I can also really start formulating plans. Because if I know that I've got someone who's got my back like that, I'm actually more encouraged to want to go and do even more out there. You get what I'm saying to you? Just that some of us haven't really experienced that. Sometimes we fall back and it's like, So now I'm like, and that's when we just start like pulling away. We're like, well, we're better off for being alone. Because if I'm going to fall back and there's going to be no one there, I would also be alone. At least then I know that when I can't afford to fall back because no one to even catch me. Allow it, man. I'll do my own thing. Or I'll find a girl, and this is wrong, by the way. I'll find a girl who's going to treat me like a king, who's going to be like, listen, I've got you in all seasons.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying to you? Yeah.
Yeah. You said something too, and it's going to go back to this. The other point is back to communication, because now you're in your head. You had got into your head and stuff because of my reaction. My reaction led you into your head. Oh, is she really for me? Is she really rocking with me? I need to go find somebody else because she ain't the one and stuff. All this could be resolved by communication. Even if I have, because not all of us is going to be able to just sit back and hear it right now. That's something you got to practice. Reaction is something you got to practice. You know what I'm saying? You can go through anger management classes, all this stuff. You teach you how to react, but that's something you got to practice. So even if I have the initial reaction of disappointment, because that's what it is when I hear it, like you can't do something, I'm disappointed. You know what I'm saying? I still have to sit here and find a way so we can communicate. You still have to sit here and find a way that we can communicate, because my initial reaction is not my only reaction. It might be one that triggers you to do something because you're used to something and it's like, oh, let me step back. She can't handle it or whatever. But it's like, now I need to, when I see you step back, I need to be like, hey, listen, let's talk. Let's figure out how we going to make this holiday happen, what we got to do. We both have to get out of our own way, our own ego and our own head, and just sit there and be like, okay, so we really want this to happen. What we got to do? Do we got to reschedule it? Do I got to figure out a way to come up with some more money or whatever? Do we need to invite more people in so we can lessen our overhead costs? What do we need to do? Let's have the discussion. The same way we was having discussion on planning it in the first place, let's have a discussion on how we revise this plan. That's another thing we don't do. And the thing is have real communication with each other to even be vulnerable. We don't have real, we get a real surface level when we start talking to people nowadays. Like everything, what's your IG? What food you like to eat? This stuff like who are you though? What makes you, you know what I'm saying? What have you been through that makes you the person today? Do you love who you are today? We don't get deep with each other and stuff like that. So when people decide to be vulnerable, it looks brand new to us. We don't know what to do with it. Who is this person? Why are they sharing all this stuff with me? Like, Kojo, why are you telling me all of this? Like, why? We never talked like this before. But again, what is your intentions when you start talking to people? What is your intentions when you're out here networking and making connections with people, and now you're on the phone with them every day. What is your intentions? Is it just to have sex? I don't have to have that much conversation with you for that. Why am I pretending to have all of this conversation with you just if that's my end goal? Let me tell you up front, that's my end goal. What you trying to do? But if I want you in my life, I want you as a friend, I want you as a partner, I want you as something serious, my intent has to be learning about you, meaning that I have to be, shut up, Jay, listen to this man tell me his story. Figure out how his story can be used in a way that makes our story work, not against him. How do I align with anything that he's telling me in his story? Sometimes you listen to the story and you listen to the person on how you can get over him instead of saying how I can sit here and be better or find out this person in the long run is just not going to be my person. When people be talking to you, sometimes they tell you they're not aligned for you. So if your intentions are you want something serious, like we'll go back to Ready to Love, for instance, with Khalid and that situation with True. I'm asking your age because my intentions is to have a woman in so many years that can bear a child. The intentions is there. So I am, I need to make that step on making sure my intentions for you is that I am your safe space. When the day is hard, when the man at the work or whatever and stuff like that is all in your ass and you doing all this stuff like that, I am still that space that you can come to and relax. And I need that from you. It needs to be reciprocal. So if you're bringing me peace, I can return that to you and vice versa. I don't know. I think we overcomplicate a lot of things so much just because we don't communicate properly. Maybe that's a topic we need to have or whatever. I mean, but it's going to go back into this on even like, this conversation right now is when you are coming to me as a safe space. How am I responding to you? Oh, Negro, I ain't got time for this. Man up. Or I hear you, babe. So what's the plan? What we doing? You figured out what you're going to do? You know what I'm saying? How you feel about that situation? What that situation taught you? Or Negro, you need to get it figured out. You need to figure out this money. Or I'm a bad bitch. You got to keep up with the aesthetics of it all. You gotta make sure I'm good and stuff. Like, what are we doing? So
yeah. Just before I bring on Lola as well to bring to the conversation. Yeah, no, it's powerful what you're saying. So someone asked a question about can a woman be disappointed? So so I can make that very clear as to what it is, and I think it's actually a good conversation. So here's my personal response. Okay, we have to make a clear distinction. And this is why I think it's really interesting. A lot of us, especially of us who are in this particular sphere of this YouTube, okay, have attachment issues. So I'm gonna say it straight. A lot of us have attachment issues. So you're not dealing with a secure man. If you're dealing with a secure man, you can express disappointment. He's gonna tell you straight, I appreciate, thank you very much for telling me no, but he gonna be okay. All right, he gonna be okay. Most of us ain't dealing with that particular man, and most of us not dealing with that particular woman. This is why we're having these conversations, so we can actually unearth these things, because the men also need to be aware of that for the ladies, which is why I love what Jay was kind of sharing. But it's so disappointment here, especially for those men who are a lot more men are avoidance than most, right? So the disappointment isn't the issue; it's the issue after what happens to disappointment. If you tell me, listen, I am disappointed that we can't go on this holiday. Not that I'm disappointed in you. I am disappointed that I can't go on this holiday. But what I'm with you. What we're gonna try? What can we do next? Because I want to go on this holiday. So let's sit down. Let's sit down. Let's make a plan. That's different from being I'm disappointed, and then you walking out, or you saying I don't want to talk about it right now. That's different. If you tell me you're disappointed and you share that, you say, listen, but look, let's sit down and see what we can do. Then I know you're in it with me. Expressing disappointment and then kind of leaving it there. Yeah, now we're going to feel some type of way about it, right? Because again, we have our own insecure attachment. I'm making that very clear. So yes, when I said about expressing disappointment, it's not that you can't express disappointment. It is what comes alongside with that. You know what I mean? Like imagine something happened to you, and in that moment, I just say to you, "Wow, I'm just kind of disappointed," and then leave it there. It's like, oh, what? You know what I mean? Like, I'm not expressing anything else. So it's what happens after that as well. And again, the reason why this is important is because the reason why the woman leaves it at disappointment is also because of her attachment issues. Because she generally does feel disappointed. She feels let down, right? So it's not just disappointment, it's let down. Oh, he's doing it too. So, you know, and again, her own attachment issues are also playing up in that moment. He hasn't stuck to his word. I remember where did that come from? Maybe her dad, maybe her mom, maybe her family members who also let her down. So now when I let her down, it's not me letting her down. It's the whole of the lineage that let her down. So the same way you're feeling it, I'm feeling it too. It's not you necessarily saying disappointment. It's that I'm also feeling the lineage of you saying disappointment. It's like it's going beyond just you. So again, that's something I have to work through. Everybody has to work through those particular things on their own. We are saying that as we're working as a team, I think for best practice is always that after that aspect, that when you are sharing that disappointment, I think a lot more men will be very happy to hear that, you know what, I am disappointed I couldn't go on this trip. Of course, I was excited. Me and you, and let me just add this. I'm disappointed I couldn't go on that trip. I was excited to go with you. See, that part doesn't sometimes get added. What gets happened is I am disappointed we couldn't go on this trip. Something else gets said, which has nothing to do with I wanted to go with you. It's just like I feel disappointed we couldn't go on this trip, and it's maybe you're frustrated about something. But if I'm disappointed that I couldn't go on this trip because I really wanted to spend time with you, right? That also makes it a difference because like, oh, I get it. You wanted to spend time with man. And then you say, okay, look, what can we do to try and see if we can make this work? All right, let's sit down then. Let's sit down. You're with me. You're trying to see if we can make a plan out of the situation. Maybe we can't go on this massive holiday, but we can do a staycation, as somebody said, or we can do something else. You know what I'm saying, Chu? That's also it as well. But yeah, I know you want to say something, Jay, before I get
and no, bring Lola up as well. But hey, my love, hi.
What's good, Lola?
Myself. Hey.
Yes, hey. I was just gonna say we all have to remember disappointment is a natural thing too. So it's not something that, you know, it's not something we all look forward to because nobody wants to be disappointed, but it's a natural reaction. So it is okay that a person is disappointed. It's okay to be disappointed. It's just how we respond to that disappointment. That's it. That's all. Hey, Lola.
What's up?
It's been a long time.
Y'all going kind of deep. Like, okay. What you want from me? What's up, Kojo?
What's good, Lola? You right, yeah? Shining.
Yeah, we're doing all right. We're here.
Yeah.
Glad
obviously you've
back.
Been hearing. You guys been back. It's good to have you back.
Yeah,
it's been a while.
In these streets for a while, but you know, never say never.
Streets.
Yeah, she been out of these streets. But Lola been on her healing, finding herself journey. She been doing her thing, baby. She's
out here. Get all hill across, huh?
Look. But I'm glad I'm here. I'm glad I'm here. So what are we talking about?
What are we talking about? We're talking about, you know, we're talking about men's vulnerability here, you know, we're talking about men's vulnerability and being able to share our vulnerability with a lady that we love and like, you get me? And how scary it is. How sometimes, you know, the women be not keeping it safe for us, man, to share with you get me? So we're asking and having a conversation, and Jay was sharing some of the wisdom as to sometimes why the ladies may struggle with that particular aspect as well. And then I was sharing why some of the men also struggle to want to open up and share with the ladies as well. You know what I mean?
But I think women actually want that. Women want the vulnerability. Now, of course, there's the odd thing because I think a lot of the stuff we see online is not real life. You see all the stupidness of, you know, the men versus women. Yet, does it happen? Yes, but really, I only see it online. And the only idiots, excuse me for a second, the only idiots, I'm talking about men that you see in the comments and not the real men I think you'd see outside. Or at least that's not how they represent themselves. But I really feel like I understand that men sometimes feel a certain way about being vulnerable, but I would love them to hear and know that that's what women want. Like if you come to me with like all these things, the coating, the outside exterior, that's not really what I'm looking for. In this day and age today, most women are not looking for someone who's just going to bankroll them or make them feel, you know, like, oh, they've got it. If you're a woman looking for a relationship, it's one thing to say you want to have a jump off, you want to have what you call it, the maintenance man, whatever that is, that's one thing. But if you're trying to, like, if it's a situationship, that's nothing. But if you're trying to have a relationship, it can't be a relationship if only one person's being vulnerable. In today's day and time, it doesn't make sense. So I really like men to kind of look at it that way. The main question now is, when a man approaches a woman, what does he really intend? What does he really want from her? Because the truth is, most women want that. And that's the first step. If you represent yourself a certain way and say, okay, this is who I am, she's going to respond likewise, because I believe, of course, I'm from back in the day, I believe that a man leads the tone of the relationship. So if he's honest, not necessarily vulnerable in the beginning, but he represents himself, this is what I want, this is what I'm looking for, this is my intention, this is my purpose. If that's what she wants, she's going to respond likewise. So there won't be any confusion. But I think sometimes men feel a certain desire to misrepresent themselves, either for whatever reason that is. I'm not a man. But when you misrepresent yourself, then you're going to attract a different type of woman that you desire. But if you come up straight and clean and say, this is what I'm looking for, 9 out of 10 times, you're going to have a woman who's going to respond and is going to respect that. I don't know any woman, and of course you're going to say I'm partial because I'm a woman. I don't know any woman who won't respect that sacred space. Yeah, I want you to fight for me when we're outside, but when we're indoors, I want you to be able to, if you need to cry, I don't have a problem with that. If you need to talk about what's wrong, I don't have a problem with that. If you've gotten to a point where you're down on your luck and you don't have money, I don't have a problem with that. What I would have a problem with is if you're okay sitting in that situation and say, yeah, I don't got it. I don't got it. That's not going to work for me. I want you to have dreams for yourself so you can have dreams for me. If you don't have dreams for yourself, you can't have dreams for me. And this is it's a back and forth. So that's what I think most women are looking for. Because you hear us say, you don't want to provide it. Yes, we do. But we're not necessarily talking about money. I think we're talking about a give and take, like an exchange. We need to build on each other. Like, I'm supporting you, you're supporting me. So I think the key is when a man approaches, how he approaches her is everything. I think that's the beginning.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree, actually, to be honest. I don't disagree. I think if you're talking about healthy contexts, I would agree with you. I think if emotional safety means that much to you, yes, you would purport that. I think the reality is both, and I'm talking about the men specifically. Let me just talk about the men specifically because that's our perspective. We're not thinking about that at the time. You know what I mean? Like, that's not what we're thinking about at the time. We're not thinking about emotional safety at the time. Yes, what I'm saying to you. That's not a place of importance right now. Even the word emotional safety is alien. What is that? What I am feeling is that if I have a moment, which I'm gonna have one, I need to know that you've got my back. I need to know that the response that you're gonna give me is one of enthusiasm, right? A bit like if you shared your story with me, and it was a deep wounded story, and I react with, oh, well, okay. Cool. You know what I mean? Like, someone says, so, well, you should be mature enough to respond, to just hold that response. No, but like, there's a response that also invalidates the person's what they've been through. There's a lack of empathy. And I think for us men, sometimes, in some cases, not all, but it's in some cases, men are feeling like we have shared, and it's been a bad experience, bro. It's been a bad experience. It's like, we've opened up, we've shared it. And that's why someone said, obviously, can't I be disappointed? And I was like, see, it's not about disappointment. It's about how you repair that situation in that moment. Is there a pick me up in that moment? Right? Because like, if you lost your job and I said to you, oh, your job's over. Okay, cool. I'm disappointed too, because now you can't pay no bills. You know, that'd be a wild ass response, right? Right. So sometimes a quiet part is said out loud. So even though you may not say, oh, you're thinking about the bills, your response is telling me you're thinking about the bills and not thinking about me. So sometimes that's what men are feeling. Sometimes it's like, you may say, okay, I'm disappointed, but really and truly, the disappointment is about the fact that you feel some way. But then there's no real emphasis of feeling like, okay, how does he actually feel? Like, our feelings don't have no space in this room. That's how it can feel like. You know what I'm saying to you? So yes, I agree with you. In the beginning, before you choose, you should be having emotional safety as a number one context. I think if you're healthy and you've done the work, that's where we all should be. But the majority of who haven't done the work are not in that position. But I agree with you. I'm not disagreeing.
Because I don't think what Lola was necessarily saying in the beginning, have emotional safety. I mean, that should be in the back of your head, period. You know what I'm saying? I want to be safe. I want her to be safe. That should be in the back of your head, period. You're the protector of the relationship. That should always be playing back there. But with Lola, what I got from what Lola was saying is, when you're coming with your authentic self and you're being you in the beginning, you're allowing me to see that, okay, this person has the right intentions for me, because they're not trying to deceive me or like play games with me or anything like this. The man is now creating a space for me to say, okay, I can nurture the space that he's creating. by creating a space for him to dwell in outside of the world. That is
exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying, because men are smart. I think both sexes are smart, but a man knows if you're looking and you're not drunk or you're not under the influence, you meet a woman, you have some sense of who she is. So I feel you're reading the room, meeting this person. So when you drop some information, literally, I feel like men will test a woman when they first meet her with certain types of information, see how does she respond. He's not just going to drop the big one as soon as he meets her, but as he's met her and he's given himself a certain appearance, she knows who she has and he will have a sense of who she is. So by the time he gets to a point where he just feels the need to express himself about something that's innermost, he'll have a sense of who she is. Now, of course, can she surprise him? She can. But for the most part, I think a man who sincerely talks to a woman who he's just maybe met for the couple of, he'll have an idea of how she's going to respond to him. He will know. No man. Let me not speak for a man. I'm not a man, but I don't think, Kojo, because you're emotionally intelligent, I don't think you're going to meet a woman at a club and all of a sudden tell her your innermost secrets. You're going to get a feel for her. And once you get a feel for her, for the most part, and I don't want to generalize either, but most women are nurturers. That's their thing, because we come to this thing with different job titles. We can nurture anything and everything. So if we're invested, yes, you losing your job is going to be heartbreaking, but the first thing isn't going to be, oh my goodness, how are we going to make the rent? Or how men are more logical. They think like that. Or women think like, is he okay? Let me make him feel okay. That's going to be her first. Of course, there's some women be different, but for the most part, a woman, when she hears that, she's like, is he okay? And whereas a man, if a woman approaches a man and says the same thing, I've lost my job, a man is more logical. So his first thing will be like, how are we going to meet the bills? But when a man comes out where a woman most likely wants to know, is he okay? How can I make him feel better? Afterwards, then she's going to start trying to figure out, okay, how are we going to pay? But if you're with a man that you care for, not someone you hate, and everybody throws this term narcissist around, if you're not a narcissist or whatever kind of deflect you have, if you hear that, your thing for this person you care for, I'm assuming you care for, is he okay? Let me check in with him. So that's what I think men, I feel like sometimes men may use that as an excuse for not opening up. But for the most part, if you meet a woman sincerely, 9 out of 10 times, she's going to want to make sure you're okay. That's how I see it.
So interestingly, you just flip the script. And that's exactly what us men are talking about, why it's not safe for us. You flip the script by saying that's what men would do.
Because men are more logical. No, not that it's no longer safe, but
now it's not safe.
No, but think about it. A man is meant to be logical. That's his position.
I get you, but you just made it unsafe, Lola. You just made it unsafe.
You think
that's exactly why we're saying that some men are saying what. No, Lola, I'm with you. By the way, I'm agreeing with you. I'm telling you that I think we're privileged, right? Those of us who have knowledge, I always say this, that those of us, we're doing the work. So we're not even talking about us really. I'm talking the people are not doing the work. They're not doing the work. So what you're saying, I can comprehend it and deep what you're saying. But I'm talking about for the other brothers and other sisters. Yeah. What you just said is precisely what actually destroys the safe space for those type of people. Because in that moment, you're saying to me, men are logic, right? But in that moment, I'm having an emotional moment. So when I'm sharing that vulnerability in that moment, right? Your brain, not you, but your brain is thinking, he's logical. What's he doing sharing all that stuff? That's exactly what I'm saying. Because if I'm logical, you've now told me that I have to fix that box. So now when I don't be logical and I share that vulnerability, your facial expression, your energy, your body, no matter how much you're going to tell it, oh, women will think about your emotions. Nah, she's thinking, you're logical, or are you being logical right now?
That's not what she's thinking in lifetime. In the moment, she's not thinking, oh, is he being logical? I'm saying as an observer, when I identify relationships and break them down, men are more logical. But in that moment, she's not thinking that. She's probably thinking, because you think about a woman when she's with a child, she's not thinking, oh, the child should be this. She's responding to that immediate need. That's how we respond. So in that moment, she's not thinking, oh, should he be logical? Is he logical? She's thinking, is he okay? So I'm using the term logical, explaining men just as a theoretical explanation, not in real time. That's the difference. So yeah, be safe, please. If there's a man listening, be safe.
I think you're propping up these ladies a bit too much, and that's what's going to cost you. Because you thinking that these women are actually going to be responding in an emotional way, and the reality of the situation is there's a lot of women, just like men, do not respond emotionally very well in that thing. Because the very first clip we just played, and I'm going to play it for you so you can listen to it, is a proof that you can't respond very well and emotional. Not women in general, that some women, that's what I'm saying to you. So I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying to you that you're actually right, because again, we are on that plane. But I think you're giving a little bit too much play for the rest of the ladies, because some of the ladies actually don't know how to handle a man in that space. They don't know. They want it, but they don't know how to handle it. And just like there are some men who don't know how to lead. You know what I mean? Like they should be able to do that and be logical, but they're not. So I think so. Like I said, I think we already know. That's what I'm saying. We already know. But there's a lot of people who are not in that space, so they don't understand it. So when I am coming to you, I am thinking a lot of these thoughts, and even when I'm more healthy, I'm always thinking that there's a part of my brain that does always go, "Can you share this information?" Right? Again, that's my job to do more work in making sure that I feel secure within myself. That's actually got nothing to do with you. That's actually to do with me. I want to make sure that I'm more secure in myself and being open with myself first and foremost, because that's where my strength comes from. My strength doesn't come from you. You creating a safe space to receive my information is actually not my strength. My strength is, have I built that resilience within myself that if I was to share this information and you weren't to take it very well, I'm not now going to be emotionally dysregulated by your response. But that's work I'm doing. But again, not everyone's at that space right now, both men and women, to really, first and foremost, they should be putting it on themselves, but they're putting it on each other. So that's what I'm kind of sharing that space. But yeah, no, I'm hearing you. So you're giving this is good. This is because this is the kind of conversation that's happening in real life. So yeah.
Is that why you're still single, sir?
No.
So, bro, we've been at this for a minute now. Like, sir, like, what's the excuse?
Some of us were in the streets.
Yeah, but you need to get out the streets. Like,
some of us were in the streets. I can't. You know what I mean? I just gotta say, some of us were in the streets. When you met me, I was in transition. That's all I'm gonna say. You know what I mean? I'm a different man than I was then.
It's the longest transition. It's the longest butterfly cocoon ever.
Hey, the transition I've been in, it's been a long one. You get me?
Lola, when you met him, he was finding the leaf to land on to make the cocoon.
Listen,
okay?
And you know, when they met me, I had a girlfriend, and after that, that's when it went downhill, bro. You know what I mean? But I had to go to do that. You know what I mean?
He's just up in Ghana in December, like firing all the ladies. Like,
you see, that's what was getting me in trouble.
You should have found a bride by now. Okay.
Nah. You see, that's how you get messed up. Don't just choose anybody now. Let the Lord choose it for you.
It's been a couple.
Yeah, listen. Hey, it can take 5 if it needs to. You have to. See how long it took Jacob? It took 7 years. Listen, you have to allow it.
Lateris has the bride, so you next. Lateris, he got his lady. His lady that she'll put.
Listen, Lateris is blazing. Lateris is blazing the way for us. We thank God for his life.
Lord, I don't know what way that is. Lord, but this is not about
Let him play.
Okay,
Let him blaze that trail. Let him blaze that trail. We thank God for his life. Yeah, we're gonna follow his footsteps.
I was gonna say before Lola derailed us with your personal life.
she said, she been waiting for time. She been like, I've been waiting to see this for time. She been saying this for a couple of years.
I was gonna say that.
Sorry,
that's
Jay,
another thing too. Discernment, and I say this all the time to ladies, because my favorite show back in the day was Bad Girl Club, and I used to always laugh when they get on there and they start telling all their stories just to be crying and acting a fool once they told somebody. And I was like, why do y'all share things y'all not ready to face yourself? So, and I know sometimes when we're venting to our friends, we're looking for the answers and we're processing them sometimes, but sometimes the only person you need to share with is probably God, until you're ready to actually deal with the fact that this person may use this against you at any point. You always got to keep that. I mean, I know our point is to try to get the men to be vulnerable, but you always, man, woman, you always have to keep that thought in the back of that mind that this person may eventually use whatever information, because the court already tells you this. When they arrest you, they're going to tell you this. Whatever you say will and can be used against you at their will. But you also have to remember that's not a reflection on you. That's a reflection on them. So you have to be in a comfortable enough space for whatever you're about to share that you can deal with whatever is thrown back into your face. Now, I'm not saying that it's supposed to like lessen the blow or whatever and stuff like that. I know it taints you. I know it makes you harder and it makes you in a space that you don't want to share anything else, but that's just hindering your process and your growth, because now you're bottling everything back up. We can't be like that. some things are not supposed to sit on you forever. You know, that just stops you from having all the blessings that you're supposed to be. That thing is weighing back on you. The devil put that back on you through that person. So you got to let that go. When you released it to that person, that was supposed to be your release right there. So if you're not even ready to share that information because you still torn up by it, you haven't processed through it, you haven't fixed it for yourself, don't share it. You can simply tell that person, even if they ask you that question that leads to that situation, you can simply say, I'm just not in a space to share that with you right now. You have that right. But I know what the type of vulnerability we're talking about right now is really coming in and just saying, I had a rough day. All of these things happen. That's a different type of vulnerability. You know, that deep stuff, that's when you have to use your discernment on, should I share this with you? Should I answer that question that person's asking me? Because what are their intents on asking me this question? You know what I'm saying? What their purpose is. Some people are just asking to have ammo against you. Some people are actually learning you for a good cause and stuff like that. And that's where you just really have to be in a space to know the person that you're dealing with. And again, I'll go back to breadcrumbing. I know it sounds like we playing games, but sometimes you got to breadcrumb little bits of information and see how they respond to those little things. Lola said it, when a man see you in the club and stuff, he starts saying little things just to see how you react. Sometimes you got to drop her little bits of things, parts of you, just to see how she reacts with that. Don't just drop a big old bombshell and just expect her to just be like, okay, whatever you dropped on her and stuff like that. But little things, you lead your way up into that trust. You walk your way down there. Trust is something. And let me go here before I let Lola jump back in. Trust is something, is a two-way street. A person can break your trust, lose your trust and stuff like that. But the only way you actually get that trust back is if you take the steps forward to get that trust back. Can't nobody put trust in your heart but you. It's earned for sure. But you have to allow that person to earn it. You got to learn it for yourself. Sometimes you got to earn it for yourself. You know what I'm saying? You got to earn your own trust for yourself. And a lot of times when you don't trust people, that's just because you don't trust yourself in that area. So you don't trust being vulnerable with somebody because you don't trust how you will handle them being vulnerable with you. So that's another area that we men might have to work on, is just learning how to trust themselves and people of the opposite sex. I'll put it like that, because, you know, y'all think y'all trust your boys, and your boys be the ones who really be getting y'all. Y'all be telling them about these girls and they sleeping with the girl you're telling them about. So, you know what I'm saying?
You quiet, Kojo? Like, what up? She said something. Like, you don't say that. You agree?
Yeah, no. Oh, I thought you were gonna say something. That's why I let her.
I agree with her, but let me let you finish, and then I'll say what you need to say.
Oh, okay, cool. So for me, obviously, I agree that partly. I guess maybe my thought process now is, for me, I'm in a place in my life where I'm just radically honest. So my position is about my position. Of course, in the beginning, of course, I'm not going to tell you my whole life story. No, that's not what that we're oversharing. But my position now on vulnerability is radical honesty. You know what I'm saying to you? So my position is to tell you the radical, honest truth. Now, if you respond badly, I'm going to hold you accountable in that space, because you should be able to hold this thing. Unless I've told you something, I've killed someone, then that's something different. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not. You should report me to the police. So there's something to hold there. I'm sorry. Take me to the police. I'm about to be a danger for you and the family. But if I'm telling you something like, hey, financially right now, I ain't got it, and I see that the reaction that you have is one that's going to put any shame or embarrassment on me, this is not even, it's a cause for concern, but my thought process is, you need to work on you. Because if I've shared something to be honest with you, and shared something to be in a space where I'm letting you into my space of vulnerability, and you're going to crush that space of vulnerability, I don't need to terrorize you. I don't need to fight you. I don't need to scream at you. I don't need to do any of those kind of things. But I need to let you know, listen, you're not gonna crush my spirit. You know what I'm saying to you? Like, me sharing it is me also allowing you into my space and into my heart. But I'm becoming confident in my space, where now I'm secure within me. See, because your response may be your own issue. And so I don't want your issue to now become part of my insecurity. Do you get what I'm saying to you? Like, I've worked through that. So if I respond poorly to your thing when you're responding to me, then it's because of my insecurity is birthing me again. And I believe I've worked through most of that. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying I can't be triggered again. I probably can. You know what I mean? Let's be honest, we're humans. But I'm saying to you, like, that's why I approach it that particular way. That's why I approach it that particular way. So my thing for the mandem is to be radically honest, bro, because I think that allows you to be able to see where somebody else is. If they're not going to withhold what you're sharing, if they're not going to be able to respond, wisely with you, then are they the right kind of person for you? You know what I'm saying to you? Like I always say, listen, the right kind of girl will do the things for you that you need her to do, bro. The wrong kind of girl, she ain't got the motivation to do what she needs to do for you, bro. So when you're sharing some of the stuff, is a yicky yick. You understand? So, and I guess this comes back to actually part of your point, Lolo, as well, about, I think I start as I mean to go on. I'm a person that creates safe spaces. So I want a safe space so I can share certain things. I want you to share certain things. So if I can't do that, you're not the person for me. Get gone. And I need to get gone. In fact, let me get gone. Don't worry, you stay there. Let me get gone. But again, I'm speaking from a place of privilege of having that understanding to do so. And I think this is where, again, both parties, though, at that place, though, is very difficult, like I said, because if that, and this is why I say it's two ways. The man who's emotionally finds it difficult to share and open finds a woman oftentimes who also isn't very great at the emotional aspect either. That's why the two of them got together. You know what I'm saying to you? So that's why we're actually matching. So that moment is actually a moment for growth on both ends. We're supposed to have an encounter that may go well, may not go well, but we're supposed to grow from it. But a lot of times it destroys people because, again, we haven't done the work. So that's the difficulty for both parties in that space. But yeah, I know you was going to say something. Go for it.
Yeah. So I'm going to use myself as an example. So I'm not really out in the streets. I might dip out for a second and run back in because it's a bit cloudy out there. I'm not going to say there's piss in the pool, none of that. I don't believe that. I mean, at least I'm not going to see it. So once upon a time, so I met somebody online, talking. So we finally decided to meet. I think we had one conversation and then we met outside. And then we talked on the phone one time after we met, and then texting. Now texting, like, it enrages me a little bit because now you've gotten certain amounts of access to me. So pick up your phone like a big boy and call me. So I just noticed he kept texting. I think by day 3 or day 4, he texted me that, do you like me? So I guess that's him trying to open up. I don't know. So, and I'm saying this to say that, yeah, I have all these words to say, but there are times when I might trip and fall, but I'm acknowledging it by saying the story. So when he said that, I think I was a little annoyed and triggered by that question for many reasons. Like, if you're approaching a woman, your question shouldn't be like, oh, do you like me? No. Put yourself out there, do something. Don't ask me dumb questions. So my response to that dumb question was probably a little bit cruel. So what I said was, I can see you grimace.
No, because the fact he was like that dumb question.
What I said was, I'm neither physically nor sexually attracted to your ass. And I typed it and hit send. And that's not really me, but clearly I was triggered because none of us is perfect. So I don't know if that was a vulnerable moment for him. Maybe it was, but that's not how to go about it. But I told myself, if you're trying to approach me, I can't teach you how to approach me a certain way. And so things kind of went quiet after that text I sent. And so I want to say, I thought about it and I knew I felt wrong about it. I felt I didn't represent myself appropriately. So maybe maybe it was a month or 2 months later, like, hey, what's up? How you doing? In a text. And I was honest. I said, I didn't represent myself appropriately. And I just want to clean that up. I wasn't trying to jump into bed with it. That wasn't the issue, but it's just the way you went about it just had me respond in a manner which was not appropriate for the kind of person I believe myself to be. So I cleaned it up. Now, of course, the end of the story, he was still consistently who he was, and he wasn't really sincere. So it didn't really go anywhere. But I say this to say that even when you do kind of snap someone at the ankles at a certain moment, nothing stops you from going back to clean it up. So it cleaned up, but it didn't solve the issue because that's who he was. But yes, sometimes, he might catch you at the right moment, or she might catch you at the wrong moment, but you can still clean it up. You can still clean it up. You might say something that's, a little brash, but you can come back and recognize that, oh, I shouldn't have said that, and clean it up. So yeah, when we're not perfect, we might, snap you at the ankles in a vulnerable moment, but you can always clean it up. Like, this is someone I still don't know. I still don't know him. I mean, we met one time, but I felt the need in my spirit to clean it up. So yeah, that's
yeah. The spirit was strong in that one. Yeah, spirit was strong in that one, Lola. Yeah, because that's why you're on the bench with me. You see, instead of talking about how I'm single, come and join this bench. You're single with me. We need to both do the work. Come and sit on this bench.
I'm doing
There's room for all of us.
You said something that struck me. You said about being radically honest. It's easier. If you don't do that, it's because someone will say some stuff that will just aggravate you, and then you're frustrated. Get it out, but I have to find a way to say it that's appropriate. Like, don't like. So there's something that people do now. I don't know if you're out there, but if you go on an app, I've gone off the apps now. But if you go on an app, a dude will jump in your message box and drop his number. When I was coming up, that's not how it worked. You would ask the nice young lady, how you doing? What's your name? May I have your number? Not drop your number and say, call me. So in the beginning, I just used to like, but now I'd say it like, that's not how it works. Now, some people will just kind of move away. Others will respond to that. So I think you being honest with what you want and who you are makes it a little bit easier to, So just be radically honest. Not brutally and rudely honest, because maybe I was a little bit rude in that situation, but just honest.
Lola, a little. No, you need to be accountable. You need to be accountable, because that was shambolic. She said, what's a dumb question? as if safe space. A safe space is no judgment. She said, oh, what's that dumb question? What do you mean, do I like you?
So, and I'm using that as an example because I know it's a little, even I could sit down and acknowledge that maybe you did a little too much. Like, you should just put away, maybe you could have pinched him, not brought out a shotgun. And I understand that was. So I'm acknowledging that.
No, I mean, I get it. Listen, I get it. I mean, as someone said, you might not have time to clean it up. But see, okay, this is a key thing, right? This is a key thing. So see this, that's a perfect example though of what we're talking about. You see this? Because if I ask you something and you say, let's say we just started talking, and you say to me, it's not a dumb question. My number one thing is, first and foremost, I have to address that, because number one, I don't like the word dumb, stupid, foolish. It's fine with my ex-girlfriend fell out. I don't like that kind of terminology, so I'm gonna have to let you know straight away. Number one. Number two, if me personally, I have to see if it's linked to other behaviors. That might be my exit. I'll be honest with you. That might be my exit, because if I'm now telling you, hey, do you like me? And I know, listen, but obviously it's a very passive question, because it doesn't put him in the driving seat of saying, I actually like you. So it's a very passive question. So I just think that it needs a rephrase. Right, your response. I understand your response. It just needed a rephrase so that it made it safe. So like, it could have been like, hey, because you have to say like, hey, are you actually saying that you like me? Is that what you're trying to say? Because you asking if I like you doesn't make sense right now. You know what I mean? Like, because you're asking me to find out if I like you. Do you like me? You know what I mean? That's what you should. You know what I mean? So I get it. It just needed a rephrase. You know what I'm saying, Chu? But that's how easy it's done between us all.
And it was via text. Like, this is like, we grow. Like,
what's up?
Like what? Like, why was it texted? Like,
I gave you my phone.
Was it what's up?
Use it.
Yeah. Like,
I should know. Was it what's up? I'm just trying to figure out. Or was it Instagram, Lola? What was it?
No.
By text.
It was text. It was a text.
You know what? I still blame you. You should have called him. You let the text tone get ahead of you. You should have called him and see what his tone was.
I'm acknowledging that I went wrong. Yeah, I acknowledge that. But that text, the text is just what, like, just out of the blue.
She saw a text.
Out of the blue.
She saw a text and started blowing it up. What kind of, I don't know, she put a
like, you ain't used this number I gave you in 3 days.
What kind of weak man is asking me if I like him about?
Text. The hell? Use your words, Negro.
I'm sorry. Nah, this might be toxic. I'm sorry. Nobody's perfect, but this is the example where I was like, I sat down. I was like, yo, that probably wasn't clean. I need to clean it up. But yeah.
So this is a good point too. That part right here too, to kind of segue, because Coach was kind of saying some stuff too. But tell us what men do to contribute in not having a safe space too, because it's not always just up for us women to make the safe space or whatever. Because you both kind of said something that is triggering this response right now, is you like knowing the person that you're talking to to be able to know if this is a safe space. So it's like, is she a safe space because you talk to her a certain type of way that makes her not tighten up and not want to be vulnerable with you? Or is she just incapable of being a safe space off top or whatever? You know, like sometimes it could be one or the other. It doesn't necessarily just mean all women is not a safe space, because I've had men and I feel like I'm a pretty safe space. But the way that some men may approach me or talk to me, I'll just shut down and be quiet and not really say anything or whatever. And y'all know I have my moments even with my girlfriends. It's like, well, what we gonna do? I'm hearing you talk about problem. My logical brain is like, what we doing now? I'm over the problem. Like, I just hear problem. So sometimes if I feel like a man is just problem, and I ain't hearing no ways to resolve them problems, I might step out of that safe space real quick. Like, what we doing? You know, I am still my daddy's child. So like, what are we doing? I can't be sitting in emotion with you. I can't sit in this emotion with you for too long. You know what I'm saying? And we've been here too long. This 3, 4, 5 days going on months. I feel like at this point, I'm living in cat years at this point. You know what I'm saying? These 3 hours have been a whole week of you being emotional. I needed to stop. Like, what are we doing? So how do men?
You're only giving us 3 hours. Jay,
no, I'm not only giving you 3 hours. I'm just saying that'd be
you just said
movie. That's a long movie running.
It took Jesus longer than that to pass. Listen, we need a bit more time than 3 hours.
He wasn't that emotional that whole passing. He was going through a whole bunch of things. But
and it's Eli Shabachi. It's finished. You understand?
Y'all not Jesus. Y'all got 3 hours. What they do.
But yeah, I mean, look. Well, I mean, listen, I think this goes both ways, right? So I just think to myself, because we had a conversation about this on TikTok about how long can a man feel emotional about a situation, and some of the ladies were telling us he got till tomorrow morning, and I was like, yeah, and that's what I'm saying to you, that some of you are not safe spaces because you're uncomfortable with us being emotional.
Tomorrow morning,
tomorrow morning, it's like weeping may endure for a night, but joy come in the morning. It's like, hey, let me mourn a day or two, okay? I done lost something, you know? You know, but no, listen, hey, I like I said, I do think that obviously we're joking a little bit, but yeah, I think obviously everybody's got the capacity, do you know what I'm saying to you? And yeah, everyone's got the capacity. So I just think that's a very important part. You have to be able to work with your capacity, because maybe you can't deal with that person being in that space all day. And that's something that you have to also be honest about. Say, hey, I want to support you, but I can only do a few hours per day, you know, because right now you're a bit of a funk. Maybe I can only do a few hours per day that you can actually support me in that space of that emotionality. At least then I know, you know what I'm saying to you? You're not saying I can't support you. You're saying to me, I'm working with you, but I've only got a few hours to be able to work with you because obviously I've got work, right? Like I remember a situation where someone was just like in a very emotional state a couple of years ago, they're in a very emotional state, and it's like every second they got to call you to kind of have a conversation, and after a while, bruv, I just stopped picking up their calls, blood, because you're just jarring me, bro. You know what I'm saying to you? So everyone has their capacity. Now I need to do better. I should have told them, listen, my capacity is for you is 15 minutes, but you know, at that time I didn't have the words or the resources. So yes, I needed to heal from that. But I think everyone should do that, where they can say, look, maybe I've only got 15 minutes to really hear you and be at full capacity to really concentrate on what you're saying. You know what I'm saying to you? And then maybe we can pick this up again tomorrow. But at least then, even if you give me 15 minutes and say you're going to give me 15 minutes unadulterated, you're going to be focused on me. I'd rather 15 minutes of you being focused than 15 minutes and you're looking around, you're on your phone, you know, or something like that, because you really don't want to have the conversation. I'd rather those 15 minutes because at least I know I've got you for that time. And apparently it takes only about 8 minutes for anyone to kind of like really regulate anyway when you talk to someone. So 15 minutes is enough time. So I just think that's what we all need to do, not just the women. I think the men too. Sometimes there are certain situations you can't support the person all the way through. Just letting them know, I've got half an hour for you. I've got 15 minutes for you. You got me. This time I'm here for you. Talk. I'll just listen, you know, and support you in that. And I think that will help a lot more people, rather than trying to say, I've got unlimited time, when you don't say it at all, but you kind of, you're not implying it, but you're almost like not saying anything. So it looks like you got unlimited time. But really and truly, after the third day, Jesus rose, and now you're kind of vexed because they're still going on about the situation when really and truly it's because you've reached your capacity limit. You know what I mean? And I think that's something that we can all do in that space, just to kind of help each other be able to it's hard though, because it is hard to tell someone that you love and you care about, I've got only 15 minutes to hear this to hear this issue again. And it's usually again, it's not normally the first, it's like again, one like our fifth time. Again.
Just slide you that receipt like the therapist.
No
timer on.
Yeah.
Timer on.
just let me, so when you hear that, just know the time is up. Okay.
Yeah, we're working on ourselves, because I did have a
yes.
It may be in the past, once upon a time, a long time ago, because I have a short attention span. Like you said, I've heard it before, and I know you're going somewhere, but you're going around the lane, up the road, down to the shops, down to Tesco's, then Sainsbury's, before you go to Whole Foods, and then come back to Publix. So you're going through 2 different continents, and so I had a tendency back then to say, like, can you stop beating around the bush and get to the point? So what I found that worked was, I'd say it like this, like, I'm getting lost in the context. Help me, bring me back in by telling me what you're trying to say. So it was all in how I worded it, because it's true. I do have a short attention span. If you give me a story, like even at work, when patients are talking to me, they want to tell me about 3 weeks ago. I just need to know what made you come to the emergency room right now. So I always say the term I use is start from the end. I'll tell you what I need to fill in the blanks. So I think it's how we word it. So that way the person doesn't feel abruptly just kind of, because some of us, it's not that I don't, it's just that I can't process the stories too. Like, I need to know what's important. I don't listen to every word. When I read a book, I don't read all the, I read in the middle. I don't read every word. And it works against me in exams, but that's who I am. So I think that's what I try and do, just reword what I'm saying. And most people who know me know, okay, I've got like 3 minutes, or I zone out a lot, but it's not because I'm me. It just is who I am.
So you didn't play back in the day. She still don't play. I don't know why y'all playing with love.
We need to unpack that, Lola. 3 minutes. It's crazy.
No, it just like I'm
joking.
Listening it intently, but I can't do it for the whole, like some people can talk for 20 minutes. But I really, now of course, I'm not a therapist and I don't think I could be, but if there's something to listen to, I'm listening, but then I'm just listening. And I guess I listen like a man sometimes, or maybe it's more masculine, where I'm listening to say, how can I help you? What's
the solution?
Do? I'm not just here to say, ooh, I'm not very good at, yeah, but I just, okay, how can I help? Okay, this is the problem. Like, I'm trying to always hear, like, what's the problem? What can I do? So maybe that's my issue.
That's awesome.
Lola said, time is money, baby. Let's go. Okay, get on the clock. You got one song. That's it. Once it's song.
By the end of the song.
By the end of the song, I better know your whole problem.
What's it crescendo?
But I can really think clearly with less words. I think much better with less words. So I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to help me help you. That's it. But yeah,
so it's interesting because it's not necessarily toxic, but I think it's interesting because we talk about obviously those situations, right, in terms of communication, so between men and women. And you're right, that is more what quote unquote traditional, what men usually tend to quote unquote, I'm saying quote unquote because it's not necessarily like that all the time, but yeah, you're right, majority of the time men will try to solve an issue. So, and we say the reason why men do that is because they find it hard to emotionally get connected to the partner. Lola. Come and sit on this bench with me. Come and sit on this bench with me. Come and sit down. Come and sit down. We're on the same bench together.
There's something you posted a long time ago about one of the, whatever it was, I don't know what you were, and I was like, yo, he's talking about me, but you were talking about yourself. It was a long time ago. I did some screenshots. One of these personality things, I was like, damn, he's talking about me, but you were talking about yourself. But yeah.
Oh, the dismissive avoidant thing.
Yes.
Yeah. That's us, dismissive avoidance. Yeah. The avoidance stuff.
Yeah, unfortunately, but I'm doing better.
Yeah.
I've been through therapy. I'm doing good. Okay, don't judge me. I'm straight.
Ah, no judgment here at all. I'm
Now
doing
you
better
got
too.
5 minutes. You ain't got 3 no more. You got
No,
5.
exactly. Increased capacity. I'm seeing progress.
Hey, that's the progress.
That's
Progress.
how we get there.
Work with me on that. You get me?
No, you got 2 minutes to beat around the bush. The last 3, make it count.
Yeah.
Hey.
Hey, you should know me last year. I wasn't like that. So you get the best of me.
Look, you get me?
But I think that, but what you just explained, I think is what was, I think we're talking about this, Jay, as well earlier on, that that is the most important part, right? I think what you just explained, Lola, though, is really key. I was talking to Diona yesterday about this when I was interviewing her, and I was saying to her, like, I don't know why you don't like to pick up the phone call at work until you explain it. When she explained that, I said, I get it now. So you can't process in that moment. You need, even when you're on your break, you can't process. Cool. Now I can have empathy for what you're telling me. And now I can actually maneuver around that. Okay, I know babe can't message me during work because she needs to decompress at work and dagga. It's on both sides, by the way. It's not just women, it's men and women. If we don't explain the reason why, it's just so, it just looks like your person's being cruel to you. Do you get what I'm saying to you? Like, if you say you only got 5 minutes, and then I'd never know your story as to why that only got 5 minutes. All it looks like is that Lola don't really care about man. But really, that's not what it is. Lola's like saying, that's my capacity. And if I'm saying to you, I've only got 2 minutes, but I never explained why I've got only 2 minutes, you're going to look at me like, oh, this is the man being a man. Look at him. He doesn't have to do it. And it's not actually that. You need to explain why that thing is happening so that the other person can also get an understanding, so that they can also have an, oh, okay, that's why you do that. Okay, now I can give you grace for the grace you're giving me too. I can understand that too. Okay, cool. Then I can give you more grace for the fact that you maybe can't do that as well, you know? Yeah.
That's perfect. That's perfect. And I think going forward, I'll probably do a better job at explaining that to people, because you're right. Some people might just perceive me as, yeah, because I usually get that either you love or you hate me. It's never quite in between. But if I do a better job of explaining to the people that are close to me, then they won't be offended by, because yeah, it's going to be a little late to change and be a different person at this point. But if they understand why I'm like that, that will make it easier. Because it's not from arrogance. It's just knowing that, okay, I need to be able to, I can't, that's too much. Like, I needed to make it shorter. Perfect. I'll be doing that. Thank you for this therapy session. I just thought I was going to come chat, but I got some info.
Hey, that's what I was happening to be too. I'm receiving from you ladies as well, and I'm learning, man. I think my brain is just like, wow, like, yo, it's powerful, because I think it is, having the different perspectives is good. It's good because I need to hear different sides of things. You know what I mean? Like when me and Jay were talking earlier on, she was saying some things about why maybe the lady can't hear, or maybe can't sometimes understand. And I'm like, rah, like, I never even deep that point. Do you get what I'm saying to you? And I think when I'm watching like Love is Blind France, it happened with one of the characters, and the guy was explaining that he's been through so much, that's why he can't do that. And in my brain, I was like, hold on a minute. I wonder how many couples are in that space where they're fighting a fight that if they could just say to the other person, the reason why I'm holding this position here so strongly is because XYZ happened, and that's why I can't let this position go, because it feels like if I do, I'm really going to lose more than just this, you know what I mean, this moment. And I just thought to myself, we're talking about honesty and talking about radical honesty. That is also a part of it, being able to kind of really be self-aware enough to be able to say, there is more to what just happened just right now. You know, like there's more to, like if Lola says to me today, and let's say she's rude to me today, there might be more to me responding in a bad way than actually me just saying, oh, because she's rude. Maybe it's because I felt like, you know what, I don't feel secure myself. And so you telling me you're being rude to me makes me feel like you're questioning my masculinity. Hey! So if I could just get that understanding, and I can actually be like, okay, well, Lola, I didn't like what you said, but I also recognize that there's work on my end to make sure that I don't personalize what you're saying. You had a moment, and I should be able to also give you grace that you had a moment, but now your moment's now my moment. And now we're both having a moment, and now both were looking at us like, who's going to come off the hamster wheel first? You or me? You know what I mean? Yeah. So.
And I'm gonna push you off real quick.
Get out my way.
No.
Poor hamster gone off the wheel.
No, it makes sense. And that's what I'm hearing you encapsulate, is that if I'm strong enough, because sometimes we don't say things because we want to be accepted. We don't want to say the wrong thing. We don't want to be perceived a certain way. But if we're just straight and forward and just express ourselves, that understanding will allow that person to give us grace, because we're never going to be perfect. It's not possible. But understanding always provides that room for grace. So I think, yeah, that's the take home point for me. It's like, yeah, I'll do a better job of explaining myself, because sometimes I'll just kind of shut down sometimes. I'm just like quiet. And it's not usually from arrogance, but it's just me, like I'll shut down. But now I realize that, okay, this is somebody, not even somebody I'm close to, but even with a patient or something, if there's something I have to explain, at least a certain amount, that I'm doing this because of this, then the person can give me grace. And then it keeps the wheel going.
Yeah. I think my takeaway point is like something I kind of already know or whatever, but by hearing everybody speak, because like Lola, you're being vulnerable right now about yourself. Cole just been vulnerable about himself and stuff like that, is knowing that people being vulnerable is not a weakness. It's a sacred place. It's a privileged place to be in with somebody, you know what I'm saying? Because I look at it as that person trusts me enough to share something of value to them. Because when I hear the word vulnerable, it's giving me the word value, like right next door to it and stuff like that. It's like they're sharing a part of them that they may have never shared with anybody else, and they're giving that to me. That is a privilege to me. That's something sacred to me. So what I do with that information is going to reflect on me. And if I hold high esteem for myself, I got to guard that information. You know what I'm saying? And then in return, I'm a reciprocal person. I want people to do that with me. So if I go out blasting that person information, guess what? Everybody has fair game at me. So now I'm living back in a world where I don't want to be. I want to be in a world where I can trust somebody. I don't have to trust everybody, but I want to trust somebody. So in order for me to do that is I have to create that whole world for myself. I have to create that whole environment for that person and myself, so that person can walk into that space with me. You know what I'm saying? And so each of us, man and woman, have to create the things that we want for ourselves that makes us happy and thrive. And if we're not doing that, we can't expect people to do it for us, with us. It's always going to be against us, because now we're walking into their spaces instead of us forging our space together. You know what I'm saying? Like if I have a great space of peace or whatever, that person has a great space of peace. So imagine what it be when we come together. Now we together can start creating more places of peace for other people. You know what I'm saying? So we have to start with ourselves, creating all of the things that we want for ourselves. And then we can start sharing that with other people. We'll be secure enough to be able to do that. And again, it goes back to knowing what parts of you to give to people and what parts you just need to hold for yourself too. All of you don't need to be with everybody. All of you don't need to be with anybody. You give people those pieces. This takes a lifetime to learn yourself. So you expect the person to learn you in 3 days? Like, come on now. Walk with me. Just walk with me. But I'm going to give you the lane and the space and the peace that you can walk with me in. And I'll give you every bit of me.
Beautifully said. Well, listen, audience members, it's been another amazing episode talking about real life relationships. I hope you've enjoyed. This is the kind of conversations that help heal, but also help us grow, and also help us just to foster more vulnerability one another. And I believe this has been another great episode to kind of download as well. So anybody watching a replay, make sure you leave a comment down below in the description box, in the comment section box. Leave us some of your thoughts. Have you ever been in a position where you felt like you couldn't share? Have you ever been in a position where you felt like someone did share, maybe you didn't react correctly? We'd love to hear some of your responses in the comment section as well as you're watching this back. But we'll be back here next week for another conversation. Once more again, 8:30 p.m. EST. And myself and Jay, and if Lola's free, we'll maybe get her on board too. It'd be good to get some sound people here. You know what I'm saying to you? But this is the kind of conversation you need, people. Okay, so make sure you guys like, you share, you subscribe, you click on that wonderful bell button for notifications of the uploads. We'll see you again very soon. Ta-ra, ta-ra. Good night.